Love and Marriage Huntsville. Okay,
Let's see the
so
brothers.
I want to know y'all thoughts about them bringing Stormy's husband more into the Stormy and her husband, because the fact that he opened up the show with a basketball game, I said, okay, y'all finally starting to listen to the viewers. We're starting to get more of them. What did y'all think when y'all saw it?
I
Were
thought
you
the
excited?
basketball game was hilarious. I love that they called it a middle-aged pickup game. I also love that Stormy's husband was in there wearing that tank top with his belly out.
I
That was
like
so
I like
funny.
Stormy husband. I like Stormy
Right?
husband.
He's
But
a
I was
handsome man.
he's beautiful. When
Mm-hmm.
he had that conversation with Marceau and they got close to his face and I saw his skin tone and his eye color and his face, I'm like, damn, nigga, nice looking.
They look good together. They look
They
like they
do.
go together.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. Two very
And that's why
beautiful
they
people.
baby is so
Ooh,
beautiful.
I love the short hair on her. I
Hey,
love the
I
short
love
hair.
that. Yeah, she did that. I have a
She
nice
really
looking
Hmm.
did.
family. Y'all better go
Beautiful.
ahead.
Love it.
Um, what else I wanted to ask y'all about? I'm sorry, I can't help but think about Martell and them shorts because I'm like, if it's not gonna be the shirt, it's gonna be the shorts. But
Something's tight. Whatever it is, it's tight.
something's tight. Marceau is wanting to help Stormy's husband. What's Stormy's husband name? It's not Courtney.
Courtney.
Courtney,
Courtney.
that's what it is. So Marceau wants to help Courtney in real estate. My question, which has been a major debate that people have been having, was him saying that he's made what $17 million without Tisha. Y'all
Right.
believe
He
that?
was
Well,
lying. He was
he
lying his
didn't.
ass off.
Did he say that or did he just? I thought it was like Courtney said, if I work with my wife, I feel like we can make 20 million. He said, well, if I work with mine, or he said, like,
He
working with
said he
mine, we
made
won't make
17
nothing.
million. No, but he
Yeah,
said they made
Courtney told
17 million already. And
Oh, he made
and
17 million already.
he like, well, I've
he
made
was trying to
17
flex up
million.
after Courtney said
You
we made
know,
20 million already.
No, you made
I
17 million for somebody else's project. Let's be clear.
that's
Mm.
Bonnie. That's exactly what I was about to
I
say.
mean,
It's
that's
a
true.
difference between working on projects worth that much, but that might not be your net pay, which is why he was talking about investors. But I did think it was cool how Courtney went up for his wife and was like, "My wife is the brains just as much as I am the brains." And for
Absolutely.
Marceau, was very much giving his wife is just the credit check and the women's own business check off when you want to get them grants to fund your businesses. But that's just me. That's just my opinion on it.
Yeah. I mean,
I
I
think
like
that's
how
what he using her
Courtney
for.
includes Stormy in everything. Marceau did have me hollering when he said if he include Tisha, then he will only get half because they wouldn't even be together no more. He would give her half. But aren't they technically working together though? Isn't that still
Yes.
considered working together? So that's what I was confused with. If
Yes.
That's the
she's in the front
thing.
of the office,
And that's what made me think your wife that your wife isn't really bringing value to business ideation. She's just getting the better interest rates on things. She's just getting the grants y'all need. When he said that, I was like, oh, so that's what this is about,
so that's
Yes.
literally,
a
because she is your
glorified,
partner.
truly
Remember,
secretary.
I told y'all that all she was a
Girl, my
secretary
waiting
the
to
last
exhale.
the last few seasons. That's all she was. But if y'all noticed, this last season they was trying to change the narrative so that they could make it seem as if Tisha wasn't as stay at home barefoot and pregnant as she really was. But when he had that conversation with Courtney, that revealed their hand that that's bullshit. I mean, we already knew it was, but to me, that let us know that y'all are not working on equal footing the way you pretend that y'all are. Because the way she asserted herself in the conversation with Martell about owning the business and she's the new boss in charge and all of that bullshit that she was talking about,
Yeah.
obviously that is not true. Because if it was true, he wouldn't be having this conversation with Courtney, telling Courtney that he can't fully work with you as his wife. And Courtney is like, your problem is you just don't want to work with women. And that's the truth.
Mm.
I really want us to do a deep dive. Somebody let us know. Give us the deets on the Scott's childhood. We found out this episode
Oh,
about the
yep.
fact that the mom and dad were divorced and then they got back together at some point.
Yeah.
And it made me
Right.
feel like a lot of times when parents break up, the boys will blame the mother, especially if the mother wasn't staying around to be hurt or something. They don't always take the mom's, side, especially if they didn't exactly see it. If they weren't really aware of what was going on in a relationship, all they know is mama left daddy and now our family isn't what it used to be. Now we're mad at mommy. And that could be the reason for why they have such negative feelings about women, period, because all of them have issues with women, and that's always going back up to their
They
mother.
do. They do.
Did you think, like, when I was listening to them talk about like Martell and the kids and going to Destin or whatever, they said you think that's gonna give the kids false hope or whatever. I mean, I feel like the kids gonna always have hope or whatnot. But when Marceau and them was talking about it, Marceau and Maurice, they were saying their parents would go on dates after they separated, and although they were happy, they were questioning like, are they gonna get back together? But to me, I received that as y'all didn't want them to get back together. Like y'all would be disappointed if y'all parents got back together the way they were like. But we were wondering, like we did wonder, are they gonna get back together? It's like, did y'all not really want them together?
I think they did.
What was that family dynamic?
Mm-hmm. I think they did want them to get back together. To me, that's what it sounded like. Like in your heart, you're gonna always want them to be together. So when they start being together, you're like, oh my God, are they really gonna get back together? We don't want to get our our expectations high. So that's what it sounded like to me. And it really does make sense because they all seem like, hurt little boys mad about something. And Mark is the main example of that to me. Like the way he talked about, I don't have a heart for women, or I don't have sympathy for women the way, a lot of men do. I was just kind of like, sir, I don't know what you're talking about, but you fall right in line. You fall right in line with the incel, men that we know of that have flooded the airwaves these days. You know what I'm saying? You're very much a stereotype, sir. Calm down.
That makes me kind of wonder about their dad. Could they possibly, how people try to operate in a space where they don't end up being like their parents, only to turn out just like their parents?
Especially if the daddy was talking to them about the mom while they were separated before they got back together. You know how that your mama, she don't want me to come around.
Or they may fault the mom for the reason why they struggled.
Yes.
Because maybe the mom is the one who decided to end the relationship, and she relied on the boys to pick up jobs and all that stuff to fill in the place. And they may have some resentment towards their mom because it's like, you could have just been with my daddy and I wouldn't have to do blah, 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 blah.
But agreed.
Agreed.
Really ain't no telling.
That sounds close though. To me, that sounds about right. But we just going based off of the way they all seem to want work mules for women.
Yeah. Speaking of work mules, women, Maurice and Kimmy. We see Kimmy kind of open up about finding 2 different lumps in her breast, which could likely be breast cancer. We don't know for sure. We'll see on the coming episode. But I know when I was listening to that, I definitely felt bad for Kimmy. I hope whatever the news is it's on the better side of the news for her. But I couldn't help but think about Maurice and him badgering her for sex and stuff, and I just hope that he feels like really stupid, because sometimes life, not sometimes, majority, most of the time, a lot of times, it's really not all about you. I think he was being extremely selfish in that moment, so I wonder if he's kind of maybe even if he's gonna apologize for that or anything. What were y'all thoughts about it?
I don't think he's thought about it, honestly. I don't think the way that he was badgering her for sex is out of norm for him. So I don't think he would have even thought to apologize. I do feel like he feels helpless though and sad, like he don't really know what to say about anything. He just can't really use his words to comfort her. Like even when they was in the car and he asked her a question, he said, are they going to have to cut you? He said, are they going to have to cut you open to test whatever is inside? When he said that made me think that he didn't have the emotional intelligence to know that asking somebody that question would cause some sort of anxiety on top of the things that she's already thinking of. So to me, I'm just like, it's already and I don't think he's intentionally doing it. Like I said, I don't think he had the emotional intelligence to be supportive of her in that way. I don't even think that your mind would be going to, oh my gosh, somebody's going to cut me open, when the much larger issue at hand is that you could potentially have breast cancer.
Correct.
So he just don't really know how to support her in this time, I feel like.
I didn't even realize that he said that. Damn. But it definitely puts me in a mind frame that he is going to need help from her on how to handle her. during this process. And I made this point, and you know, we can either receive this or not. People can say I'm wrong, whatever. But we've watched Kimmy do this pushing feelings down, pushing her voice down thing. And I'm a firm believer that whenever you hold on to things or you push things and emotions down within yourself, they can manifest into calcifications in your body. And that's what cancer is. Like, you know, usually when some part of your body becomes infected. So if there's a part of your body that's weak from shots or whatever, and you're going through an emotional space where you're kind of holding things in and pushing things down, I do think it can turn into sickness. I mean, you know, to me, like for me, I feel like when my dad got cancer, you know, that to me that was a reflection of the fact that he held on to a lot of anger in his body
I never
for
thought
a
about
long
that.
time.
My mom's a breast cancer survivor. She be holding on to shit.
Yeah.
Like a lot. You know, just and a lot of older Black people don't really know how to express themselves in a way to relieve stress. So I could see that. I've never thought about that.
I think that's a really good point.
They don't know how to release. They don't know how to release things. We really don't. And that's why I feel like, you know, it's important sometimes to say those types of things during these moments, because even though we can't control if we get cancer or not, I do think that it has more to do with our emotions than we would like to
When we
believe.
think.
Yeah, and then we think, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I definitely believe that. I definitely believe that. That made me think about a motivational speaker, and he was kind of talking about that. And where your mind, like once you get that news, that's where you deteriorate even more, because once you find out that news, you go to the negative part of it instead of trying to be on the positive side, you know, to kind of change that. But I hate that, but I think that was a great point that you brought up. Let's talk about, because not a lot happened this episode, so I definitely want to get
Hold
into
on.
Stormy's.
I just gotta put this bullshit disclaimer out here. That's not to discount other people and their experiences and to be the all reason why they have cancer. I feel like that should go without saying. But you know,
I feel like I literally said, you know, we don't know how people, you know, get cancer, but I've noticed, you know, it's just
right. You said more than you're just saying that it affects the body more than you think.
I
And
said
not
if
that
you have a part that's weakened, that you know, like not that our feelings or we can control.
Not
if
that we in the John Hopkins operation room or anything like that. You know, we're not saying that, but
no.
Correct. I'm glad you cleared that up, Niecy. We understand it's a lot. You know, it could be, I do believe some of it could be like a hereditary type of thing. It's like a vast majority of different ways, because there are so many different types of cancers. So you can get it in so many different ways, you know. But it just makes me think about what the elders say, not even just related to cancer, but just your body in general. A lot of times the mind is the first thing to go. So I think what Bondi was also speaking to is just being able to, when you're having those down moments, to be able to grasp a hope, you know, a hold of your mind, like we do on a regular, normal basis, regardless of any situations. It doesn't have to be health, you know. It could be that you're stressed out about something, which could actually turn around and trigger your health. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we're not trying to diagnose anybody or do anything like that, or minimize anybody else's experience when it comes.
Absolutely not.
So,
like, of course, like my dad smoked, you know what I'm saying, smoked cigarettes and worked at a chemical plant. So there were actual environmental factors, absolutely. But I also feel like it, you know, there are probably people who worked in those same environments that didn't get lung cancer. You know what I'm saying? Right. So you never know what can cause things, but I know he, you know, he absolutely held on to things in his body that I feel like may have made him sickly sometimes, you know. He had a lot of issues over the years that were like stomach issues, where he would have like upset stomach or the acid reflux. And a lot of those things are linked to stress in the body. So, you know, that's all I'm really trying to say, y'all. It's just a conversation for us to be aware. It's not to discount how these things happen scientifically.
Absolutely. 1000%. Let's talk about the Stormy's peace party for a second. How we feeling about Destiny bringing a +1 because she felt that she needed backup? Hilarious. Went to social media and said she didn't need a backup.
It was giving Toya bringing her friend from Detroit. That's what it was giving. It
Mm.
it irritated the hell out of me, y'all. And it's funny because I was watching the show with my mama. It was the first time she watched the show, so she don't know nothing about these people. And she was like, "What she bring that girl there for? You thought she was gonna fight for you?" And I'm like, "Oh, you see what I see? Okay, so it's not a Destiny hate train. Somebody new said that, but
Right.
no, yeah." It was giving real lame. Like the type of energy that she had for Stormy at that Valentine's Day party. I don't know why you felt like you would need backup. Like, why would you ever? It was just weird to me. I don't even think her and Mel has gotten in, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think they've gotten into a physical like mismatch where they've been ready to fight. So
Mm-mm.
what's wrong, Destiny? Like, Destiny is truly hurt. Like, thin line between love and hate. I think
Yeah.
it's, and I feel like we've talked about this before on other episodes. It's a bit of her childhood feeling abandoned, lack of mother, and then you put your trust into another woman, thinking that this woman has all her stuff together and that's gonna be your friend. And the minute she leave you high and dry with no explanation, you feel abandoned, you feel hurt. So you want to show out. Like, to me, I'm like, why would it lead to something physical? But to her, her mind is already there because she is scorned.
Mm. I just read a comment that said, did she think Tisha wouldn't support her? And I feel like that's another point. I thought that was your girl, but you, I guess, must have figured she wasn't gonna have your back based on the conversation you had with her about Stormy. See, Tisha is still a materialistic pick me. So if somebody get her a Gucci bag, she gonna smile and try to get past the shit. So her
Right.
and Destiny had a disconnect in that moment. So Destiny probably felt like, I need somebody I know that's gonna have my back coming to this event. Now she tweeted that Stormy knew. Stormy said she found out at the last minute. And I just kind of feel like it's a production. So I'm not really gonna hold that against Destiny like
Mm.
that. Because if I'm going to shoot and I want to bring somebody with me, guess what? I might bring somebody with me. Give it a form. The fuck, like she'll be in a bag somewhere, but she gonna be here with me because that's what I said I want. So I'm not exactly upset with her about that, but I also
Mhm.
feel like it's just an extension of the fact that she's childish and can't really handle things like a grown woman all the time. That's all.
Yeah, I think that two things definitely could be true. That production knew she was bringing a plus one, but Stormy didn't. And some part of me, I kind of wanted to feel a way about that because I'm like, girl, that's somebody's house. Like, don't be bringing that lady to
That's
my
somebody's
house.
house.
Yeah, I
Right.
don't know the
Yeah,
lady
that's
like
another
that.
Y'all
thing.
But
bring,
That's
then
I
I'm
would
true.
like,
turn the
I
That's
ass
mean, they
true.
do
around.
it often on Housewives too. They be bringing
Yeah.
people to functions. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm with you on that. I kind of
And
give her a
somebody's
pass.
house though.
But why the plus one sat next to Mel? It's
Because she
like,
was still cool with Mel. Somebody said she went over to Mel and
clearly
hugged her.
she did.
Oh, she
Bitch,
did.
all your
Yeah,
friends
and
Mel
she
friends
talked to
too.
her. Yeah.
Oh, so she wasn't there to throw
I'm gonna just
paws.
say this.
Nah, Tisha
No,
came with
I
her
don't
sneakers
think
on
so.
though.
I don't think the Tisha energy was weird as soon as she got there to me. But Destiny, I feel like she needed an emotional support pet. Like that's what that felt like to me. It didn't feel like she was fitting to fight somebody like when Toya brought somebody to fight for
Mm.
her. It just felt like I don't want to be there by myself because I don't feel like anybody there really fuck with me like that. That's what I think
Mm.
Destiny was coming from more so than anything else.
That's crazy because she just made up with Stormy. She just made up with
Tiffany.
Tiffany, and she cool with Destiny, and I got no issue with Kimmy. And let's also talk. People always try to drag Mel, but y'all not gonna sit up here and like, Destiny didn't come on the show and have an issue with everybody. She created an issue with Stormy, had one with Tiffany, definitely came at Kimmy over the chicken clucking man, whatever the thing Kimmy said. And then the only reason, I mean, she ain't had no issue with Tisha because Tisha about knew how to stay out the way because she had already got into it with Mel. So
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, anyway, girl. But let's keep going. Tiffany, she let us know some interesting stuff that I didn't know. The fact that when she brought up the whole "I saw your man" or whatever with another woman, at least I thought that was you. Destiny already knew that before she brought it up at the table. So Destiny was being extremely dramatic. I still kind of felt like Tiffany was wrong, but I want to know if y'all felt like she was wrong and if you felt like Miss Destiny was doing too much for the cameras, because I kind of feel like she was.
I do. I wasn't mad at Tiffany when she said she over exaggerated her reaction. Because really, why did you have to get up and storm to the bathroom? Bitch, what's in a public bathroom that you need to go run in there to collect yourself? Is it really that serious? It was the same thing she did at her re-grand opening when she kept running in the back to cry to her daddy. It absolutely gives I have temper tantrums and run off, and then I still don't come back collecting myself. So it's almost like you storm off because you want people to be, feeling upset or nervous that you stormed off. But I just think she just always handles confrontation like a child, like a teenager. And she never just stands and listens and takes on new information and is able to process in that moment. And she needs to deal with that shit. But it's giving spoiled brat. It's giving my mom wasn't around, so my dad made up for it by giving me everything I wanted. And now I'm a spoiled ass brat that when I don't get my way with my friends or the people around me, I think if I fold my arms and stick my lip out, then somebody is supposed to, change for me. But we're adults, and that's not how this works. So yeah, she needs to go to therapy. She needs, and I keep saying it because she one of them people that won't go talk to their pastor. And I'm like, your pastor does not have a degree in psychology. Please go and talk to a damn counselor.
Pastor just gonna be reading scriptures and you're gonna say,
The Lord, they're gonna tell you to put God first, and you're gonna be like, what does that mean?
A lot of people have spoken on Destiny's I guess mental and how things has been going for her and how she needs to take a break from the show. And I didn't get it until I was checking out some of the comments that she was responding to. And I'm like, yo, y'all may have a point. This woman legit just went through a divorce at the end of the year, at the top of the year, somewhere up in there. Then she had to battle with the child custody. She falling out with her friend and then having beef with that, trying to fight Destiny. So maybe, do she need a little break?
She need a break. She needs some self-work.
She probably don't feel like she can afford one.
Because this is the thing when it comes to Destiny. I have gone back and forth between like, I can't stand Destiny. I don't like Destiny. But whenever we interviewed her, I felt like, she was more palatable. She was like, I don't know. It was just easier to talk to her. But I think she's just hurt. I think she needs to do some self-work so she's not lashing out. And I think it's another thing for everybody to see you at your worst. I think what we're getting of her is low vibrational plates.
Yeah.
Low vibrational Destiny. And I think she just need to do some self-work because I feel like she was solid to begin with, but all this manipulation, all of this triggering of language that she does that I've been seeing for seasons, the way she speaks to Martell, the way she speaks to Tisha, the words that she chooses, that to me is just like, I can't. I think she need to do some self-work because if you was in a place where you was truly at peace, you wouldn't dedicate so much time to hating somebody because that's what it's coming off like. It's coming off like you literally hate Mel, and Mel is paying dust because she's spending more time on herself, and you hate that.
Yes.
And I wanna like Destiny like I did in the beginning. So I hope that she does take a step back and just like, just get her mental together. I did feel a way when she tried to call out Melody and saying that she hopes that, I hope Melody acts better when she gets with the ladies, unlike how she was when she tried to fight somebody's grandma. And I said, so you acting like you didn't try to come at her mama though. So if that's the case, y'all was doing the same thing. So let's not do that. And then don't say that you feel like whatever Tiffany is talking about is too whatever for you to even address. I guess it was so silly, too much for you to address. But you sitting over here being bothered by Mel in the confessional, and then you throwing shade. Meanwhile, Mel in her confessional trying to give you grace. Like I didn't like that. I didn't like that, Miss Destiny. What else did I want to ask y'all about? Oh, do you feel like Tisha and Destiny, like, what were y'all thoughts about them not wanting to participate? Because I felt the way about that. Like, let's participate. At least just mention one thing. Like, y'all came to the event as though you were very bothered. Let's be very clear. Destiny, you brought a +1. Tisha, you was just acting a little funny. And when it's time for us to talk, now y'all ain't got nothing to say.
Should have stayed y'all asses at home.
I was thinking the same thing, but they want their check. I think it's reflective of the fact that they don't want to make up with Mel or anybody. They want. I think personally, that's what they have in common. They're humbuggish. I think that two people that like to have issues with people because then they can play victim. I also think that they're just unhappy people. So when you're unhappy, you feel more comfortable being, on the whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like you feel more comfortable being standoffish, having your fucking attitude. Or like with Tisha, I feel like the fake shit, but really talking about people behind their back. Like that's the biggest. That's why I feel like people can say what they want to, but Tisha probably ain't got no real friends because everybody
I
knows
don't think so.
that Tisha is gonna talk shit about them whenever she's feeling a way, and then she gonna subliminally throw her little bullshit relationship with Marceau in your face whenever she feel like it too. You could tell she
Well,
probably with her family members. Oh, I definitely think
her
she shines.
family.
Yeah, she shines on them. Like Marcel does this for me, and Marcel does that for me, and
She
like
kind
that
of
type of
reminds
thing.
me of a friend I used to have. I feel like Tisha probably does have friends, but she probably prefers to keep friends around who are not doing better than her. In the
Mm-hmm.
minute that they do, end up doing better than her, it's the issue. So
Yes.
I feel like she keeps people around, but probably not for long. And the longest term friendships that she's probably had are people that have always been below her or beneath her.
You could tell when
Um,
a family came together, the energy of them running behind her was like, she's so, almost like, oh, here y'all go. I know y'all gonna ask me for something, but I like the fact that y'all ask me for stuff because it make me and Marcel
right.
feel like we at the top of the family, like, and she has to feel like she's better than somebody because she's Wanda's child, and Wanda probably did a lot of comparing growing up.
You know, I'm just thinking about like energy. Now that we've been talking, now that I told y'all, I'm like really trying to. Anyway, I'm thinking about the fact that Destiny and Tisha have joined forces, and the commonality is the dislike for somebody, and that's the reason why
Mm-hmm.
they didn't want to come to that peace party and be peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
But it has to be something so heavy and so draining around operating in a place of negativity with another person, and that's your like, what the fuck do y'all talk about if it's not male? Like, do y'all really have entertaining conversations or engaging conversations outside of that? And if you do, I'm sure y'all would probably prefer to be talking about male because that's what gives y'all energy. So one of them things is it's just not gonna last long. It's not gonna last long because one of them is gonna have to come to a place to where they stop caring or they care about something more. Tisha has time and space to care about what goes on there because yeah, I don't have to explain that. But
I,
eventually it's gonna something is gonna fizzle out.
yeah. I think the L may end up being on Tisha, maybe in another season. Cause I have looked at their friendship like, okay, Tisha, we're gonna see what you do. Should Mel and Destiny actually get back on one
What are you
accord?
gonna
Not
do?
so much as, besties, but being more cordial and I could, stomach her and be around her. So I'm like, where does that leave you then? You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? So she gotta be careful with the moves that she's making now and not make sure she don't get herself involved in what they got going on. Have your own isolated beef, I suppose, versus how your mama be doing. When she come in and try and take care of your battles and stuff. But
Right.
anything else on Love and Marriage Huntsville people? We're good on them.